Hello everyone and welcome to a very nice game that happened yesterday in the Speed Chess Championship. Daniil Dubov versus Rasmus Svane. A lot of you have requested it and as usual for very good reasons. Let's see what happened here. Daniil with white opens with pawn to e4. We have pawn to c6. Rasmus goes for the Caro-Kann defense. We have d4 by Daniil, pawn to d5 and pawn to e5. Daniil goes for the advanced variation of the Caro-Kann. We have bishop to f5. And knight to f3, pawn to e6 and bishop to e2. Okay, the short variation, nothing out of the ordinary played here, knight to e7, and now castles is the standard move here, sometimes pawn to c3, but here we have knight b to d2 and knight to g6, and this is already very rare territory where there are a couple of games where knight to b3 was played, but here we have knight to f1 by Daniil, and it is now already as of move 7 that we have a completely new game. So Rasmus strikes in the center with pawn to f6. He goes after the e5 pawn, and while objectively you should capture it and then just go knight to g3 to go after the bishop, this is 3 plus 0, so other moves can be played as well. c4 by Daniil, and again, objectively not the best. I will show you why, because it allows bishop to b4 check, and you should have the option of playing pawn to c3. It's not losing for white or anything, it just gives black a very clear way of how to develop. Like you can give a check, you can trade everything, captures, now you capture on e5, and after knight captures, for example, knight captures and d captures, you can play knight to d7 and go after the pawn, and now let's say captures, or even better, pawn captures, e captures here, f4, castles, and black is perfectly fine. Nothing to worry about here. But as you can see, Daniil spent only 6 seconds getting to this position, and I believe he even pre-moved pawn to c4. So he convinced Rasmus that it was a good move, and Rasmus went knight to d7. And okay, now Daniil was knight to g3 and bishop to g4. Attacking the knight, we have castles, and he trades bishop for knight. Bishop captures, and f captures on e5. So by giving up the bishop pair, he wins a pawn. But as you've seen in many other of Daniil's games, and maybe even in my videos, it's very dangerous to take a pawn from Daniil. We have bishop to g4. He goes after the e6 pawn. Queen f6 defending, and now even pawn to f4, trying to open up the f-file to go after the black queen. Now comes e captures on f4. It's interesting what happens if pawn to e4. If pawn to e4, then f5, and after e captures and bishop captures, you move the queen, of course. Now c captures on d5, and after c captures, queen to h5, and there is no good defense. The knight is attacked, the rook will hang, you don't really have a square for the knight. If you defend it, you have to put the queen in front of your rook, then even just bishop g5 stopping castles. I mean, this is resigned territory already. So after pawn to f4, e captures on f4 was played. We have knight to h5. Now with a triple attack on the f4 pawn, okay, Daniil will win some material back, and he will open up the f-file to be used for attack. Queen h4, but Daniil does not go for the f4 pawn. Instead, he goes for bishop captures on e6. We have queenside castles by Rasmus, and now what do you play here? All of your instincts as a chess player are telling you to play c captures on d5 to open up the c file for the attack. Probably, at least that's what they're telling me. But not to Daniil. He plays pawn to c5. Now, c captures on d5 and pawn to c5 are the two top moves recommended by the engine, but c5 is the absolute top move recommended by the engine, and Daniil plays it. And the reason for that is, well, you will see on the next move. Bishop to e7. Okay, the development continues, and now comes a move that you guys probably are not expecting, and I'm gonna confuse you a little bit by highlighting some of the pieces. Feel free to pause the video and try to find the only move that wins the game for Daniil on the spot while I give you a couple of seconds. So for those of you who were able to do it, congratulations on realizing that even amidst all of these pieces, the black queen is trapped. And for those of you who just want to enjoy the show, it is pawn to g3. This is what Daniil played, and it is by far the strongest move and the only winning move. Now, the point is, if you capture, let's say captures, you attack the queen to e4, bishop to f5, and the queen has no squares. That's how you trap the queen. So queen comes to g5. Now Daniil plays pawn to h4. And it looks crazy because the knight can just capture. The g pawn is pinned, but it all comes with a very good idea. Knight captures on h4, rook captures on f4 now. And again, how is the queen to be saved? In the game, queen to g6 was played, but I'm also going to show you what happens if you play the top engine move, rook h to e8. King to h1. First, you remove the king from the g file, and only after the queen also moves, you play bishop captures on d7, rook captures, and rook to f6. This is how you trap the black queen. The knight is defended, and the queen is attacked by the bishop. There is no saving the black queen. So after rook captures on f4, queen to g6 was played, maybe hoping of escaping, but Daniil will not allow it. Bishop to f7. Queen to h6, moving into the line of fire of the dark square bishop, and now just rook captures on h4. Okay, you win material. The queen has been saved, but the position is now lost. Pawn to g5, the queen survives, but now just rook to h2. Rook h to f8, rook to f2. Defending the bishop, we have king to b8, getting the king to a little bit of a safer square. King to g2. We have knight to f6, offering a trade of knights, also putting pressure on the bishop here. Knight captures on f6, bishop captures, and now bishop to e6. You don't even have to play this. There's an even cooler move, but Daniil now also down to 13 seconds, misses queen g4. Queen g4, or you could just save the bishop, bishop h5, but I will show it because it's super fun. Rook captures on f7, bishop captures on g5, queen captures, bishop captures, and now rook captures. And of course, the resulting endgame is winning. But Dubov not the kind of player to go for endgames. Bishop to e6, we have rook d to e8, and now queen to g4. We have bishop captures on d4. With queen g7, it's still a game, sort of, but 6 seconds on the clock. Bishop captures on d4 was played. Rook captures on f8, rook captures, queen captures on d4, queen captures on e6, and bishop captures on g5. Now Daniil is just up a piece, and it's only a matter of how he wins it. We have queen to e2 with check. King to g1, now queen to h5, and the simple bishop to f4 check. And it doesn't matter, rook and queen are helpless against this bishop-pawn combo, unless you somehow get the queen to g4 and capture the bishop when it's not defended. Anything other than that will not work. We have king to a8, rook to e1, and now queen to g4. So he does attempt such a thing, but of course Dubov will not fall for it. Queen e5, okay, now mate is being threatened, so he stops it by playing pawn to a6, but not really. Feel free to pause the video once again and try to find the absolute best move for Dubov while I give you a couple of seconds. So for those of you who were able to do it, congratulations on finding this, and for those of you who just want to enjoy the show, it is pawn to b4. I'm only kidding. It is the top move recommended by the engine, but I mean, even I cannot agree with the engine this time. Of course, the top move is queen to e8 check. b4, I guess, improves your position before you play it, but okay, we're not gonna go into that. Rook captures on e8, rook captures on e8, and he was in this position on move 36 that Rasmus Svane resigned the game, as there is nothing more to be done here. Once you move the king to a7, it's gonna be a beautiful, what do you think it's gonna be? It's gonna be a bishop checkmate. Bishop to b8 check, king to a8, bishop to c7 check, a discovery, king to a7, and bishop to b8, bishop to b6, a wonderful bishop checkmate. So yeah, as usual, very nicely done by Daniil. He did mess up the event a little bit later. I think in round 8 he had a drawn position and he was really forcing to go for a win, and thus resulting in him not winning the tournament. Otherwise, of course, he would win the tournament. But yeah, he was, I think he got somewhere in the top 5. Not really sure. I could check. Just give me a second. Standings, yeah, it was the tournament was won by Pranesh with 9.5 points. A draw against Lazovic in the final round was enough for him. Denis Lazovic second place with 9 points. Kuzubov 8.5, Zubov 8.5, Matthias Blubaum 8.5, Dmitry Andreikin 8.5, Andrew Hong 8.5, and only then Daniil Dubov with 8. So yeah, obviously that's why he pushed. And at the end of the event, yeah, it didn't go his way. He lost to Aram Hakobian. in round 10. Yeah, and then he defeated Yakubov in round 11, but it was not enough. He also had one more loss to Konstantin Popov. Yeah, in round 6. So yeah, that's what happened. So yeah, that's the game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. As usual, always a pleasure to deliver a Daniil Dubov game. Thank you guys for suggesting it. I might not have been aware that this event is even being played, as I'm following some other events. So thank you for that. I would like to thank Ricardo Paulin, Bruce, Mark Martin, Benjamin Nethercott, Marcus Grebel, and James Eugene Cashman for your contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing to check up on your wonderful suggestions and whatever else happens in the chess world. So thank you all. I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day.